Content creators are currently living in a golden renaissance of technology that helps you bring your visions to the big screen, or maybe the little screen if that's your thing. Along with this comes innovation that companies are bringing straight to you with each new product that is released. Every once in a while, there is a wrecking ball of a product that is released that completely turns the industry upside down. And today, we're going to be looking at one of those products. The Osmo Pocket 3 aims to redefine the standards in the industry of content creation. Ain't technology a beautiful thing? I'm LL Mel, and thank you for watching Creators Tech, technology for creators. Today we're going to be looking at the DJI Osmo Pocket 3. A special thank you to Francisco from Unboxings y Trayectos for sponsoring this video by letting me borrow his personal DJI Osmo Pocket 3 camera. I'm going to leave a link in the description so that you can go ahead and visit his channel. It's a fun channel where he goes and visits fun places. He also unboxes toys and other interesting gadgets. Now you want to know what's in the box. Let's go ahead and have a look. You get the box itself. You get a USB-C to USB-C cable. You get the Osmo Pocket 3 handle with the 1/4-inch thread at the bottom. You get the Osmo Pocket 3 protective cover. You get the Osmo Pocket 3 itself. You get the DJI wrist strap. The DJI Osmo Pocket 3 has many great specs. However, here are some highlights. It weighs 179 grams. It has 3 microphones built into it. It has a 314 by 556 resolution screen. The screen has 700 nits of brightness. It has a card slot that can house a micro SD card up to 512 gigabytes. It has a 1-inch CMOS sensor with an f2.0 aperture. In low light mode, the ISO range can reach from 50 to up to 16,000. The maximum video bitrate is 130 megabytes per second. It has a 1300 milliamp battery that can give you 160 minutes of usage. And it can recharge in about 32 minutes. It supports both Wi-Fi and Bluetooth wireless connections. I will be walking you through many of the features that this camera has to offer. However, here are some of the highlights. It has a gimbal. It has face and object tracking. It has a low light mode. The digital zoom can reach up to 2 times in 4K mode. You can live stream at 1080p resolution. It does slow motion at 4K at 120 frames per second. It does time lapse, and it also does motion lapse at up to 4 different points. It has a fixed aperture at f2.0. However, it does have options for other manual controls. And this does also include a glamour effects option. Now let's take a closer look at this little camera. Let's go ahead and have a look at the physical ergonomics of this device itself. On the side, you can see here we have our little slot for a micro SD memory card. We have our record button. You have the little joystick. Let's go ahead and have a look at the menu system. If you swipe from the left to right, it opens up what you have recorded, and it allows you to view it and listen to it. If you swipe back, then you're able to go ahead and go back to your record screen. If you swipe down, you get some options menu here. If you click on the first option, you have your custom settings that you can go ahead and save. Then you have the second option. It sets your screen rotation settings. Up next, we have the brightness. Right now, I currently have it set at 75% brightness. You can lower it to your liking, or you can higher it to your liking. It does reach a peak of 700 nits of brightness. All right, so up here on the upper right hand, you have the selfie on or selfie off option. And then let's go to the little gear. And in the gear is where you can go ahead and set up some of the startup directions, such as automatically start recording or automatically start in certain modes. It just depends on what you like to set it to. We also have the orientation, whether you want vertical or horizontal, or it to just decide automatically depending on how you have your screen rotated. And then we have the gimbal speed. This allows you to go ahead and turn at a certain speed depending on how fast or how slow you have it set to. And finally, we have the different gimbal modes. When we swipe from right to left, we can go ahead and set up our pro modes or our manual modes. There's the normal color mode. There's the HLG mode, which records in 10 bits. And then there's the D-Log M mode, which also records in 10 bits. If you're not too familiar with this, then I suggest you go ahead and do your homework before recording in these modes, as it does require for you to know what you are doing to get the right kind of colors from this. So finally, if we swipe up, this is where you can go ahead and set your recording resolution from 1080p, from 2.7K, and then 4K. And also you can set here your frame rates. I currently have it set at 30 frames per second, but as you can see on screen, you have a lot more options ranging from 24 frames per second all the way up to 60 frames per second. Swiping is not the only way to maneuver in this camera. You can also click on some of these icons as well. For example, clicking on the video icon will allow you to go to the video options. You can set panorama, photo, video, low light mode, slow motion mode. Oh, it has to give me a little bit more time. And also time lapse mode. Let's say you're in slow motion mode and you see here on your screen that it's at 1080p at 240 frames per second. You can go ahead and change that by swiping up and setting it to 4K, and it sets down here the options for 100 frames per second or 120 frames per second. There's so many features, and I'm sure it's going to be getting even more features as time goes on with the software updates, but as of right now, these are some of the main features. And in case you don't know, here's just another one that I find extremely appealing. You just turn the screen, and in a couple seconds, it turns off, and you're ready to go on to your next location for shooting. So after a few weeks of using the DJI Osmo Pocket 3, what are my impressions of this device? Well, I'm going to get right to the point. It's a really, really good device, and I think that it does a lot to deliver on the promise of this being revolutionary. And although it does share a lot of similarities that already exist in other cameras, such as the Osmo Pocket 1 and the Osmo Pocket 2, it does something that nobody else has done before. It brought the 1-inch sensor to a form factor that literally fits in the palm of your hand. With other companies such as Sony and Canon and Nikon all still using the classic model of cameras being used for both photography and video, Where DJI varies is that they're going small and handheld with theirs. DJI somehow managed to pack a huge punch in such a small package. The 1-inch sensor on this small gimbal allows you to get some stunning footage, and it also manages to outperform some of its competition that comes in a much bigger footprint. Now, with all of that, and this being an excellent camera, it's not going to be for everybody. You can't expect a camera like this to go ahead and outperform a camera like the Sony ZV-E10. The Sony ZV-E10 will go ahead and get some extremely stunning footage simply because it gives you lens options. Some lenses will allow you to be able to get better shots in low light, or other lenses will allow you to get more bokeh, so on and so forth. But with the DJI, you have a fixed lens. Yes, you can buy the accessories to make it wider or more telephoto perhaps in the future. However, this is not going to be a replacement for a specific lens made for a specific purpose. The DJI aims for something that's much different. DJI aims for an all-in-one, easy-to-use camera that will allow you to get your vacation footage or your vlog footage in an easy to carry, easy to handle, and portable way. The DJI outperforms anything in its category by simply offering you the f2.0 aperture that performs marvelously in low light mode. This also allows you to get stunning shots with the gimbal, and it also allows you to have some extremely creative ways to get things such as slow motion footage and time lapses. This is all a lot of features that this small system packs, and it allows you to do so because of the innovation that DJI has made in the categories of gimbals and compact technology and software. This iteration is much more than just a bigger sensor. It offers better software and it offers more features. This camera, with everything that I have just talked about, is going to be for a lot of people, but not everybody. For example, for filmmakers, there is maybe a couple of shots you can get with this that will render some stunning results, but it will not give you everything that you want as a filmmaker. You can't switch the lenses so you can get a specific type of look that you may be looking for. And as far as the sensor goes, it might not be enough for a lot of users that are trying to get that cinematic look. The DJI Pocket 3 performs admirably in many ways. Now, physically, the DJI Pocket 3 is not very ergonomic to hold. It's actually, in my opinion, a little clunky with the way you can hold it, because you kind of have to just hold it by the sides. At least I do. However, I understand and I succumb to this feature because this was much needed to have a slightly bigger screen so that you can actually see everything that you were recording. So I will gladly accept this form factor, at least for now. It does have this attachment, and this attachment really helps it go ahead and allow you to grasp it more in the way that I was hoping to grasp it to begin with. The joystick, I think, works fine. The button, I like how it's just very simplistic in the way it all functions. It was very intelligent design by the DJI people, and the screen is nice and bright so you can see it even in the daytime with no problems. The gimbal works great. This is nice and easy to use. Just flip on and flip off, and there you go. Take it with you. The video quality is quite nice. The only thing I desire to have is the ability to zoom in and out manually. However, this does it digitally. I do understand that this is not that kind of camera. This is a different kind of camera with certain types of limitations, given that it's on a gimbal and you can't really put lenses on it, at least not with the current technology. The performance of low light shots that you get with this camera are really, really nice, especially when you consider where they're coming from. This is a 1-inch sensor and it gets some really nice, sharp footage. Some of the other features are very fun to use, such as time lapse and slow motion, and this performs well with those as well. So at the end of the day, who is this camera for? I think if you're a person that likes to vlog a lot, or a person that likes to go out on vacations or hikes and simply just record what you are doing when you're out and about and not have to worry about carrying a big clunky setup with a big camera. But if you're looking for a stationary setup, let's say you're a gamer and you also do vlogs, then this can work for you as well. You saw the type of quality I was getting as I was doing the review, but for many people, you will opt to get a different kind of look. You will opt to get a more cinematic style look, a look that is a little bit more dramatic, or that you have a little bit more control over. Then that's when you are going to want to shell out a few extra bucks and go with a different type of camera. This is not that type of camera. This camera aims to be something else, and that is a beautiful thing. It's almost the end of this video, and I hope I have helped you in making an informed decision as to whether or not this camera is the one for you. If you are considering in purchasing this DJI Osmo Pocket 3 camera or any of the equipment that I used to make this video, please go ahead and look in the description below. I have affiliate links to all of these devices, and every time you purchase using one of these links, it gives us a kickback that helps this channel grow and continue going so that I can present more content to you. I hope I have earned a like from you, and if you have any questions, please feel free to leave them in the comments section. I aim to answer as much as I can. I'm LL Mel, and thank you very much for watching Creators Tech, technology for creators.